Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Anti-Taliban forces in Afghanistan have asked the international community not to recognise the new government announced by the extremist Islamist group. The Taliban has announced an all-male caretaker government, including a man under the United Nations sanctions as Prime Minister and another on a United States terrorist list as Interior Minister. Meanwhile, business is booming for weapons dealers in Afghanistan's Kandahar province, with one trader claiming that he is selling goods to the Taliban. A trial of unprecedented scale has started in France under high security over the November 2015 attacks in Paris that were the deadliest ever in the country. Some 130 people were killed and hundreds wounded when gunmen with suicide vests attacked 6 bars and restaurants, the Bataclan concert hall and a sports stadium. Nearly 6 years of investigations conducted in 19 countries have resulted in a mountain of evidence. The aim of the trial is not just to establish the guilt or innocence of the 20 accused, it is also to document the origins, planning and execution of the attack. At least 17 patients have been killed after heavy rainfall caused flooding at a hospital in Mexico's central Hidalgo state. Officials said that a river burst its banks and water then cut the power supply at the hospital in the town of Tula. Some of the victims were COVID-19 patients who were being treated with oxygen therapy. Meanwhile, a powerful earthquake has struck southwestern Mexico. Civil protection authorities said the quake, measured at a magnitude of 7.4, sent residents and tourists spilling into the streets from homes and hotels. Several members of a pro-democracy Hong Kong organisation have been arrested after their group was accused of working as a foreign agent. The Hong Kong Alliance is known for organising the city's famed annual vigil for victims of the deadly 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown. The arrests were made under the National Security Law, which has a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. The National Security Department said that investigations were ongoing and did not rule out any further arrests. More than 1,000 people have marched in El Salvador's capital to protest against the adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender. The protesters burned a tyre and set off fireworks in front of the Supreme Court building as the government deployed heavily militarised police to the site of the protests. Many Salvadorans are wary of the volatility of the cryptocurrency, which can shed hundreds of dollars in value in a day. A gas explosion in a 9-storey block of flats in a city near the Russian capital has killed 2 people and damaged several apartments. Big holes in the outer walls of the building can be seen in the video footage, with debris scattered on the ground. Rescue workers found that walls collapsed on 3 of the building's floors. A total of 173 residents have been evacuated and 5 of them were injured by the explosion. 41 prisoners have died after a fire swept through an overcrowded jail near Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. Police believe the fire at the prison may have been caused by an electrical fault, as the electrical wiring had not been upgraded since the prison was built in 1972. There were 122 inmates staying in the worst affected Block C, far more than the 40-person capacity. Somalia's president has picked a new spy chief days after the Prime Minister appointed a different person for the job. The country's 2 most powerful leaders are locked in a deepening standoff. The open row between President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed and Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble marks an escalation of months of tensions between them in a country already riven by attacks and rivalries. And finally, a teen pilot who is seeking to break the world record as the youngest woman to fly solo around the world has touched down in Costa Rica. 19-year-old pilot Zara Rutherford took off from an airport in western Belgium on August the 18th in the world's fastest microlight aircraft.
Flying into Costa Rica was amazing. It's a really beautiful country. It's a shame I can't stay longer. I wish I could.
The British-Belgian flyer hopes her voyage will encourage more girls and women to study and work in science fields and spark girls' interest in aviation. The route will take about 3 months with stops in 52 different countries. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.